So as I said in the last video, let's go ahead now and take a look at how do we customize how this alpha, or any alphas that we have, and we can have many, many alphas, are going to be displayed when we are clicking on them versus when we have RGB enabled. Now just to recap, if we click off of RGB, you can see that we can see a black and white alpha, which all alphas are basically just 256 shades of gray, with black being fully unselected and white being fully selected. Now, that can be changed, and we're going to look at how to do that by simply context clicking on our alpha and choosing channel attributes. So the channel attributes basically allows us to rename the alpha. We can change the color of the alpha. We can change the opacity of that alpha, and we can change the color represents the masked areas or the selected areas. Okay, so let's go ahead and just quickly take a look at what masked and selected means. Basically, this is going to be an invert function. If I hit OK, and then we come back over here, you can see that now the masked area is red, and here it's black. Sometimes this may be a more familiar way of working for you. This happens to be the way that I tend to like to work, but you can set it whichever way you like. Again, if we context click on that and we choose channel attributes, we can change the color. So let's say that we don't want that ruby lith color. Let's say that we want some other color. So we just click on that and choose another color. And typically I like to use black. So I'm just going to go ahead and set that for pure black, like so, and hit OK. And then I'm going to hit OK. All right, so not much change here in our channel view, but if we switch over to RGB view, you can see now that we're getting this gray. Well, I didn't want gray, I wanted black. So how do I get black? Well, if I come back over here, choose channel attributes, and choose opacity 100% and hit OK. Now you'll see that in RGB view, as long as we have the visibility of this alpha turned on, we see pure black. So we can have any number of options set up here in whichever way that you possibly like it to be. And the thing is that when we're working, this can be a really, really handy visual aid for us to know, okay, yeah, that's masked, but this isn't. And you can customize it to whichever way you want to. Now, in addition to that, we do have some other options here under that context click. And if you look at them, you can see we can duplicate that alpha channel. We can delete the alpha channel. We can clear it. We can invert it. And we can feather it. Now, feathering it is very much like feathering a selection. If we click feather, we can give it a pixel value. And in this instance, maybe we'll do something like 10 pixels. Hit OK. And there you go. So it's basically just running a Gaussian blur over the whole thing. And when we run that as a selection, so if we come back up here to RGB, turn off the visibility of alpha 1, go to select, load selection, choose alpha 1, replace selection, and hit OK. Now you'll see that we end up with this soft selection. And if we choose to fill that with a color, say like black, you'll see that we end up with that soft fill. So hopefully that gives you an idea of some of the things that you can do with your channel attributes. And now we're going to go ahead and look at the Boolean functions.